Guns, weapons of war and mass destruction. Guns have been around for centuries and have been used for a variety of things. Weapons of war used by countries to solve their problems. For self-defense, so the weak can defend themselves. And to hunt animals and get a good meal. Now, if these were the only things people did with guns, maybe ownership wouldn't be such a controversial topic. But due to the violence and risk associated with guns, we must take a look into the pros and cons of ownership.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I hate the
You must know I am a peaceful man, and you probably think that I would have nothing good to say about owning a firearm. Well, you, sir, you would be wrong. While it is hard to justify owning a weapon that's meant to kill a living thing in a second, it all falls on the user and their responsibility. The first pro of owning a firearm that I cannot ignore is self-defense. It is very difficult to understate the value that a firearm may have when you're met with a potential deadly situation. Well, I don't think it's okay to go around shooting people. Someone knowing that you are armed may make the difference between you being brutally attacked or robbed and you making it home safely. All criminals want is your money, and if they think you are armed, they're more likely to steer away from the trouble. Carrying a gun will also make it safer to go about your business at night in a potential dangerous area. For our second pro, we will expand upon the idea of self-defense. Some people may argue that civilians don't need guns because law enforcement will protect them. While I do love my boys in blue, sometimes you may be in a situation where you don't have any cell service. Along with this possibility, law enforcement can take a number of minutes to reach your house, and most dangerous situations happen in minutes and maybe even seconds. You should be able to be in control of your safety in a situation where your environment and safety has been compromised. The first con of owning a gun is your environment. More specifically, children. Children are young and impressionable, but most of all, they're stupid. Leaving a gun in the reach of a child is just asking for disaster, and has been the cause of many mass shootings. The next con associated with owning a gun is mental health. Let's be real, people. Crazy people do crazy things, and making guns accessible to people with mental health issues is just a disaster waiting to happen. Almost every mass shooting that has taken place was done by somebody with some type of mental health issue. For example, let's take someone that has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and they may be in the midst of a depressive state where they ain't thinking clearly. This may cause the person to do something harmful to somebody for no reason. Somebody completely innocent. Another con associated with the ownership of a firearm would be that they are very difficult to learn to use. A lot of people that buy a firearm don't undergo the liberty of learning how to use it in a safe way. People assume that because they see people pulling out guns in high-stress situations on television, that they can do it effortlessly. This just isn't true at all. Lastly, and most devastatingly, we've seen tragedies happen to people with guns. While some people are out to cause harm with their weapons, other people just carry them for safety. In the case of Trayvon Martin, he didn't have a gun at all. He was followed by a 28-year-old neighborhood watch volunteer named George Zimmerman, who called 911 to report a quote-unquote suspicious individual. After being told to stay away by the police, Zimmerman proceeded to approach and confront this innocent young man. And after a dispute broke out, Zimmerman proceeded to gun down Trayvon Martin in cold blood. It's these types of tragedies that we must take into account when deciding on gun laws. In conclusion, I think that there are pros and cons to owning a gun, but there must be stricter guidelines if we want to maintain peace in our society.